ain't coming for your wallet.
Ask you some hard questions just out of curiosity.
I want to up other people's games.
Like, that was such a hot piece of garbage that was just shoved down our throat.
Big stacked stats watch.
What if I told you there was a game where survival isn't just about dodging attacks, it's about causing absolute chaos? Welcome to Troublemakers, the first and only battle survivor where creating trouble is your key to victory. In Troublemakers, you're not just outlasting your opponents, you're actively trying to make their lives miserable. It's a 4-player free-for-all showdown where every move you make can turn the tide of battle. Unleash trouble, disrupt rivals, and fight to be the last one standing. Today, I'm sitting down with the mastermind behind all the madness. We're going to dive deep into what makes Troublemakers a completely new experience and why you should wishlist it on Steam. Let's jump in.
Hello, Yokzona. It's Pickle. Is this thing on?
Yep. Hey, Pickle. How's it going?
Oh, hey, I'm going great.
You're a little close to the camera, so
Oh, okay. Hold on, one sec.
that's
What about
better. That's
What
better.
about this? Okay.
Perfect. It's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, great.
Thank you. First of all, Pickle, for being able to do this. I appreciate it. I know
Hi.
you're super busy.
Incredibly busy.
You're very, very busy. Most people don't actually know that you're in charge of Troublemakers.
Oh
And
yeah, I'm
you're
the
the
head
one.
honcho.
Mhm.
If this was
Um,
Hawaii, they'd call me a big kahuna,
mhm.
and we'd all be eating spam.
Yeah. So, uh, I wanted to have you kind of give people more of like a little bit of an insight on like what
Yeah.
it's like
Speaking of
to.
Hawaii, did you see that new Lilo and Stitch trailer?
I didn't. I didn't. You know
Yeah.
what's funny? If you were blue, you'd look a little bit like Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we can move on. Okay. Can you tell me how you guys came up with the idea of Troublemakers? Because obviously I was brought into the project after the fact and have been working on, other aspects of the game, but like who came up
Yeah.
with the idea? How did it kind of come into fruition and what were some of the
Yeah.
inspirations?
Yeah. So, one day I was just kind of, hanging out, doing what I do, you know, crushing documents, business documents. But anyway, so then I was playing that game. Uh, I believe it has the surviving and vampires. The name escapes me, but I was playing it and I thought I want to up other people's games. I mean, mess up. Like they're trying to play and then I'm trying to play and then I make it harder for them.
Can you elaborate like as far as like mess up their games, like more in
Yeah,
detail
yeah.
as far as
So like, when you're playing those survivor games, you have like all this stuff on the screen and you gotta like survive. Imagine if like I could mess with you. Then what? And then I thought, oh well, like, what if there was a lot of people that could do this? And then, you know, bada bing, bada boom, troublemakers.
that's it. That's how it was
That,
formed.
yeah. My ideas are fast and awesome.
I mean, I'll give you this. It's a really unique idea. And so like for
Yeah,
some
never
people
been done before.
it's never been done before.
No. In
Uh,
fact, I've been playing a lot of these survivor games, and they always put that co-op in. Like, I don't want to play with you, but I want
no,
to play like I want to play with you, but not like with you.
anyway, so the idea is really cool because when I would play survivor games, you sit there and
Yeah,
it would get very repetitive after a while. You would sit there,
yeah,
you'd basically go into a survivor game, you basically get all the best weapons, you do it several times, you'd be like, okay, I'm done. Where like with
well,
this game,
good point, good point. You like play the survivor games, then you unlock more stuff, and then like you survive, and then you like they're fun, but like, what if it's like you couldn't survive?
it's true. And not only
Like,
that,
and then
that repetitiveness, and then so adding the multiplayer element into a survivor in a
yeah,
way
like
in a PvP esque style,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's like I said, it was really unique and it really caught my interest.
yeah, yeah.
And
Like
why
I
I've
said,
kind of, I
my
guess,
ideas. Hey, hold on. It's like I said, my ideas are fast and awesome, and
yes.
that's how I like to. That's what I want to put into the game. You get in there, do 5, or you make someone die. Fast, awesome, fun.
It is fast. It is awesome. Um,
You don't even have to be Asian to do math that easy.
can I ask you? Can I ask you some hard questions, just out of curiosity?
Yeah. Are you okay
What
with hard
personal
answers?
yeah, when you've been working on this game, like what are some of the like personal experiences that have found its way into the game?
I went camping once and came across a big stacked Sasquatch.
Did that actually happen?
Yeah.
And so,
Oh, you don't believe me?
which then made then I guess what came how you came up with the idea of Samantha, who's in our game,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Based on a real person.
based on a real person. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Based on the real Sasquatch, I bet.
so
When I went
it just
camping.
I feel like most people might find the this game. Not most people. That's not the right word. People might find what we're doing a little absurd. What would you say to them?
Get good. That's what the
Get good.
gamers say, right?
Get good at what exactly?
Understanding. Brilliance. But well, for the people who are have a little more trouble that just can't get good, I know there's a lot of you game journalists.
How has been the response so far from the community about troublemakers? Can you speak into that a little bit?
Yeah, so the community's great. You know what we got, but it can always be bigger. But yeah, for the people who play it love it. The people who don't play it don't.
They don't know they love it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I knew I hired you for a reason.
Well, you were questioning it a second ago. I got a little nervous.
I wasn't questioning it. It was a test, and you passed. Yeah, yeah. So you're asking me about what it's like working with a team. Well, we have a great team. I handpicked all of them. But yeah, I mean, there's you, there's our coding genius, there's our artist, and then Corplin. Working with our coder, we code name the Wild Dodo. That's what we call him. He's a real genius.
Yes.
He's super easy to work with. You know, tell him whatever crazy idea I have, and boom, bam, it's in the game.
Is
And
that
then,
kind of the flow as well? Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
would you say that's
I come
basically
up,
the flow? You come up with a crazy idea, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
say it's in the
And
game now.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, you guys have to run stuff by me. I sometimes have to run stuff by you know, the higher ups at AmeriCorps. You know, so
That doesn't happen
sometimes
that often, right?
no, 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 no. But sometimes I'll come up with a great idea, and then I'll come and I'll tell the wild dodo like, hey, put this in the game, and he'll be like, no problem. Then it happens. And then working with you is so then like we have the artist. His name's Fletchosaurus, and like I'll go to him and I'll be like, hey, I need you to draw out this idea I have. I saw this big booby Sasquatch when I went camping last weekend. I need you to draw her. And then he did it. And I was like, great job.
If you are an indie dev, definitely reach out to me, join the Discord, and I would love to have you on the show and be a featured guest and feature your game to try and get you more exposure and things like that. That's what this show's all about. There's not a good outlet for indie developers to basically promote or get more people to see the inside or the inner workings of their game. And so that's why I made this show, is so that other developers can get their game out there and their name out there. So if you are a developer, please click the link below and or above or wherever it is and join the Discord, and I'd love to have you on the show. Well, one thing I think if you want to let everyone know is like we realized, because we tried to have a play test or beta early or at the end of last year, and it obviously didn't go, exactly the way we had planned or wanted it to go. And so,
Uh,
what have
uh,
we
uh,
kind of
uh, uh,
learned?
Well, hold on. I was told we weren't going to talk about this.
Who said that?
I said that.
I don't. I didn't get it. Well, let me just finish my question. Let me finish my question. It's not a bad question, and I think it's
Mm.
good for people to kind
Yeah.
of
Okay.
see what
Finish
it's
your.
like,
Finish.
you know, with the behind the curtain, and sometimes you have setbacks and things like that. And one of the things I feel like we learned, which was our Steam page not converting great. So one of the things we've inspired our artists to do. Pickle, calm down. I'm not. This isn't.
No,
I've
go on.
upset you. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. We're good. Go on with your question. Finish your question.
So what did we learn from some of the not so great things and mild setbacks we've had that we're doing differently now and then we're spending time on doing?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So we learned that sometimes you know things don't go well, and the poop hits the fan, and then you have to clean it up, and but you never give up, no matter how much poop's on the wall.
Luckily, it wasn't too much poop. It wasn't too much. It was a good learning. I think we learned a lot.
Oh yeah, you know a lot about poop, don't you?
We do it every day.
Don't we all? But yeah, so we had our setback, and I learned a lot from it, and then I took came up with more great ideas, and we're hitting it hard, hitting it fast.
What's some of the most unfair criticism you think we've received so far?
All right, fine. Once again, I thought we were bringing this up, but there was a commenter on Reddit that called us a TEMU vampire survivor.
That
Not
was
that I'm familiar
difficult.
with that term. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I learned from that, and yeah, game's not going to be a TEMU vampire survivor.
Well, one thing we did do is we posted that new animation of the boomby blowing up, and it
Oh yeah,
actually, no pun intended, it blew up on Reddit pretty well.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. People love it. Yeah, yeah. I remember when I was I came to Fletchosaurus and I was like, hey, we got to have like a deer in the game that like blows up, and I was like, we'll call it like a booby. And then he was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, but then like have it blow up. And then he was like, I'm kind of busy. And I said, no, no, get on it. Then we got that animation. That's how you kind of how to do things sometimes, you know.
do you ever have imposter syndrome, Pickle?
I mean, imposter syndrome.
Like imposter syndrome, like you feel like you're in a role sometimes that you're unqualified for, or you feel unqualified for, and so like
No,
you,
I'm hyper qualified. It says it on my resume.
so never ever have had imposter syndrome.
I mean, do I dream about sometimes being something else? One time I had a dream where I was, jumping around New York City with a parachute, but I don't own a parachute. Is that imposter syndrome?
No. Is there any feature you fought for the game like really hard, but then just people just didn't care for? Like you're like, I really want this one thing to be in the game, and then it was in there, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we hate it. We should just get rid of this."
I mean, I can't think of stuff I fought for. Um, I mean, I fought real things I fought really hard for. Jiggle physics.
J- Jiggle fig? I don't.
Yeah,
That must have been cut like immediately.
no, no, it's still
No,
in the
we have a
game.
little bit of jiggle. I mean, I wouldn't call them
Yeah, of course.
physics.
But, I mean, they physically move, don't they?
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 2D jiggle physics. Oh, wait, I don't know what I'm talking about. Sprite-based jiggle physics.
Do you guys have a plan? Like, when when are you guys doing like, or us? When are we doing Steam Fest? And like, what's our plan for like launching and all that? Like,
I don't want to give too much away, but in the coming months, when it gets really spoopy, expect to, make some trouble.
Make some trouble. I think that's a good word for it. Oh, and actually, one of the things we just came up with, um, which I think it was your idea, but we changed the generic item you pick up to gain what we're calling trouble, and we
Yeah, yeah.
changed it to oh, if you want to tell us a little bit about that, like
Yeah,
what
yeah, 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 yeah. So we decided to go with originally we were using these like crystals, and they were going to be like trouble crystals, and you pick them up and you break the crystal, then you get your trouble, and then I was like, what if they were like you know cute little blobs? We called them troublies or trubs.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
I
what's
actually
your
really
trubs
like
now?
Yeah, I actually really like the idea, and it's actually kind of evolved from just that idea of just like that's what you pick up. Now it's kind of formed into like I know with one of the characters, Oz, he has his pet rock, and we've kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, Rocky.
and then we kind of be like, oh, well, that can also be like it's a special trouble or something like that, right?
So that's all going to be in the lore. I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm a bit of a lore whore.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that's going to be in the lore, and in the game you can read about all this in the lore if you're into that kind of stuff. And I'll be updating with the community and letting people know about characters and their backstories and their how they fit into the world of troublemakers.
Can you tell me about some of the characters? I'm just because I don't know all the lore of
Oh,
the characters. I know some of it, but like some of your favorites.
yeah, 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 yeah. So my favorite character is probably you mentioned it, Oz. I like him. He's a failed rock star, fell on hard times, made a deal with the devil.
Davil.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I said the devil.
Oh, I thought you said okay, my mistake.
Yeah, no, 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 no. You gotta clean your ears out. Just listen from time to time. It's okay. But yeah, so anyway, he made a deal with the devil, and he got this rock, and now he's eternal. I don't want to give away too much, but and then another character I really like. I mentioned her. Her name is Samantha. She's like this really, really, sexy Sasquatch.
You like her?
Yeah, 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 yeah. She's based on a real person. Saw her when I went camping.
That's right. I forgot.
You ever been camping? Do a little knocking on the
Camping.
trees. Hey, do a little knocking on the trees, make some howls.
Mhm.
Sasquatches come back, say what's up.
Is it
But
hard managing a team that's not all centrally located? Like how different time zones and things like that. Is it hard? Kind of
yeah,
getting
yeah,
everyone on the same team on the same meeting and things like that.
oh yeah, it can be real difficult. I can think of this one guy makes it real difficult to get meetings set up. I'm not going to name names or anything, but like he has to sleep, and sometimes he's like, "I'm tired. I can't do this. I have children to feed and take care of."
Feels pointed.
And I'm like, "Hey, you know, we got to make trouble. This meeting's important."
But I think we do okay. I think we generally do okay. Obviously it is
Yeah, yeah.
hard. Obviously it is hard managing, managing time zones and things like that, especially with I know
Mhm.
there's several other people on the that have like kids
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
yeah,
have a lot of people that have, families and stuff, and I try to accommodate for them, you know. But there's like this one guy, and like he'll like I'm not gonna name names or anything, but he'll like be like, "Oh, I stayed up late and I'm tired. Can we please meet on the weekends?" But I'll accommodate for that.
I mean, like I
He's a
said,
good
it feels
guy.
pointed, and I thank you for being accommodating because
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm
well,
not
as
naming any names,
if
so
anyone's
could
curious,
be
I'm
any
in
one of
this.
us.
Yeah, I'm central. I'm in central time zone, and the rest of the team, or at least half of more than half the team, is in the West
Pacific,
Coast. Yeah, Pacific,
Pacific
and
time
so
zone.
it's tough. Definitely managing or balancing your life and doing game development and doing work and all of these different things. I
Yeah,
think people
yeah,
don't realize how difficult it is balancing all those things out. And yeah, I mean, it's hard for sure.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard.
It could be real difficult to get everyone together, but we do a pretty good job.
I think
We
so.
like to we like to give each other, we like to what is it? Riff on each other, little razz.
So, what would you consider to be like our target market? Like, who are we targeting for troublemakers? Like, who's the ideal person that's like they came across troublemakers? They're like, oh my god, I'm definitely wishlisting this. I'm definitely gonna play it. Who is that? Who would you describe? How would you describe that person?
Assholes.
Oh,
Like
like
people who are
mean people,
buttholes.
like jerks.
Yeah, 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 jerks. Whoa, wait. Hold on, I have a better idea. Hold on, let's start over. Here we go. Okay. Nice people.
That's the exact, literally the opposite of what you just said.
Yeah. But don't you see?
So you're
Anyone and
trying to
everyone
say,
can play troublemakers.
so you're definitely hitting a very broad stroke of people.
But yeah, like if I could be real for a moment, I would say our target audience are people who are sick and tired of being treated poorly when they buy a video game. You know, I want them to know they're appreciated. Like sick of the industry.
That's a good point. I know one of the
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
I know one of the things that drew me in, especially working on this project, was the philosophy of like, kind of like fighting the AAA world, like try fighting those AAA games because we're kind of getting sick of this like overpriced product with less content and
yeah.
over
We're not.
monetization and things like that. And it's almost like, being an indie developer, you're kind of like fighting against that type of just very overproduced and just but like not like a what but a
Yeah.
great example. I mean, and there's a tons and tons of great examples, but I think like just this nonstop shoving things down our throat, like for instance, like the Star Wars Outlaw game, like that was such a hot piece of garbage that was just shoved down our throat, and they were trying to tell us like it was a good game, and then you compared it to games 10 years ago, and you're like, this is like garbage comparative, and you're trying
Yeah,
to put a $70 price tag on it.
I don't like to use like derogatory terms like that for other game developers, but it was poopy, and it. You got all these games. It's like I'm not in it. I'm not in this to make money. I'm in this to make a good game.
Good
I
content.
want people to have fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
good content. Like obviously we need money to keep going, but like
Right.
I'm not looking to get rich. I don't need like a mansion or anything.
Right.
Maybe like sweet apartment, like a pool.
Well, and I think one of the things for sure that's really fun is just, I mean, when coming up with the ideas of troublemakers, I know when with the team, like it's seriously like if it's like uh, what's the right word? It's like a what's the word? Like a when you get together with a bunch of creative people and then you just like dump a bunch of information, like it's just like a I can't think of the right word, but it doesn't matter. Basically, whenever we get together and we just start talking, we can just riff
Yeah.
forever about so many ideas that we want to put into the game and things and characters, troublemakers and troubles and
Yeah,
levels
yeah,
and all of these different things. And I think that's one of the cool things about working on this team uh, is is that creativity and that type of collaboration. And and it goes back to what you were just saying as far as we're not looking to get rich while making this game. At the end of the day, this is one of the a massive creative outlet for a very creative team.
yeah. So I would agree. Yes, we all come together. We have great ideas, and yeah, like one thing for me is I'm sick of getting stuck it. I'll buy one of these new games and then immediately have like buyer's remorse. You know, and like I don't want that. I want people but when people play troublemakers or decide to make a purchase in troublemakers. By the way, troublemakers are completely free. Purchases are all optional. But yeah, like when people decide to make a purchase in troublemakers, I want them to feel proud of their purchase,
Mhm.
happy about it. They don't feel like they get just kind of like stuck it, like they're taken advantage of.
No, it's a great point. I know, and I know. Obviously, I don't want to give away, our hand too much, but I definitely like our philosophy when it comes to pricing certain things with the game. It's that's kind of the thought. That's the thought we think of when we're doing that. Is
Yeah,
trying to give maximum value with a reasonable price tag.
yeah. Treat your community well, and they'll do so in return.
Yeah, which is just something that's just not seen. Like I know for me, I have not bought a $70 game. Like any of the games that have come out that have been the $70 price tag, for some reason it just doesn't feel right. And I don't know when they started doing that, but it's also why I've just leaned more personally towards indies because they have first of all, the games are more reasonably priced, but there's
Yeah.
also
Let me take it from here. Let me
go
take it
ahead,
from
go
here.
ahead.
Okay. So yeah, when you buy an indie game, the nice thing about them is even if it's not for you or it just may not resonate with you, I still don't feel that bad about I don't mind spending the money. I don't feel bad about buying the game. I don't feel like a rube, and then I'll buy like one of these new games that are like $70, and then I'll play it and I'll be like, they got me.
Mm. Yeah. You feel
You
gypped, you
know?
feel juked.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
baited you. Yeah.
Feel like a dummy.
Mhm.
And then I got people asking me, "What are you, a dummy?" And then like I have to say yes. And that sucks.
Yeah. No, but I like this topic, and then one of the things too is, like, when you buy a game from an indie, you know that that money is going direct to developer. You know what I mean? You know that when you spend that money, you're going straight to the people that made the game compared to compared to buying money from or buying money, I'm sorry, but compared to buying a game from, like, a AAA, it's like, you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's going to the publisher, it's going to the marketing agency, it's going through so many different hands before it finally gets to the people that physically worked on the game. And
Yeah, yeah.
it just
Well, I mean,
seems like the whole system when it comes to game development has been completely over monetized. You know what I mean? And it's just triple A's, in my opinion, I just feel like are very much on the downward trend and dying out. And indies are on this big upswing. And it just feels like people that want to spend their money on indies are actually having more of an impact. You just feel like you're better. I mean, when you or
yeah,
it
yeah.
just feels better to spend that money on an indie than it does now with the triple A.
Yeah, yeah. So that's you got to go way back in our time machine to like the 1980s, 1990s. I feel like they used to make games, and they would take a chance. Like this is what you even if it was a bigger studio, you would still see like they'd make a game and you'd be like, this is what they wanted to make. It wasn't like they were
That's a
trying
great
to
point.
check off boxes or do anything like that. They're like, this is the game that developers want to make. And I would like to bring that back, and I feel like indie's doing that, and I enjoy that. You know,
Yeah. No, I
I
100
feel
I 100% agree. Like that's how it definitely feels like. And it's interesting you brought up the 80s because I think people don't also realize with troublemakers is that we have a very strong 80s vibe going on with the kind of style of the game or visual fidelity, if you will, of the game is this
yeah,
very
yeah.
80s-esque neon-y 80s style.
Well,
Um,
like 80. Don't forget we're a mixture of 80s and the 90s.
mhm.
That's what I grew up.
I think it's important. I mean, the
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
why I wanted to dig into this topic too, because I know a little bit can be controversial as far as this battle between indie and AAA. And you see that's like what was there was some right before Baldur's Gate 3 came out, there was somebody that posted something, some other developer basically not like talking crap about Baldur's Gate because they're like, don't ever expect games like this. This isn't development. And it was such like a what do you mean? This is what we should be expecting from developers. We should be expecting a lot more work and time and energy, especially from a AAA. Indies, and this isn't necessarily an indies versus AAA type of thing, but just the mentality between people that work for AAAs, and then they have this type of thought where they're like, no, you deserve a subpar product. Just expect more subpar products. That's what you should be getting as a consumer. And you're like, no. And I feel like the community is doing a decent job at starting to push back on that and not just swallow every piece of garbage that they send down our throat.
yeah. I gotta say though, like gamers as a whole, we need to be more frugal with our wallets.
True.
When we're just dumping money into these things, and then they that's all we are to them.
It, it's true. No, I mean, because it's they trying to think of a really good example.
I mean,
I think we've done
you mentioned Baldur's Gate 3, and that was a pretty good game. And a lot of people say they did everything wrong before launch,
it's true.
but I mean, look at them now.
So true. Or even like Elden
So,
Ring, like, I've obviously been playing that series since like Demon Souls. And even Demon Souls had mixed reviews early on. And had
oh
good,
yeah,
but
people didn't like it.
it was too hard. Like that was the issue with Demon Souls, that people found it
Yeah, it
too
was
hard.
really difficult.
But they kept at it, and all of a sudden now Elden Ring comes out and it's like the greatest thing to slice bread. And it's like, but what's interesting about Elden Ring and why I think it's such a success is like there's outside of DLC, like additions, expansions, if you will, it was that was only a $60 game, if I'm right, when it first came out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think where you're going with this, and I'm going to agree with you 100%. It was complete when the
Yeah,
game launched. It felt like it was complete. No, it didn't feel like anything was missing.
Mhm.
A lot of games nowadays that come out, you play them and you go,
It had
something's
meat
not
on the
right.
bone. It had a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
meat.
yeah, yeah. There was a full plate of ribs. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Absolutely. Total full plate of beef ribs, big beef dinosaur ribs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
yeah,
and so like that's the thing, and like going back to what how we kind of gotten onto this topic of just this AAA versus indie thing is like I feel like a lot of the momentum is going to be shifting into this indie pool, which is good because you're going to have your dollars spent have more impact than dollars spent on a AAA.
yeah. 100%. And remember, speak with your wallet, people. If you enjoy a game, support it. If you know, if you don't just buy into the hype. That's something that I've noticed a lot too. People buy into this hype about a game and then they feel disappointed when it comes out and doesn't deliver. Like you were sold an experience, not a game.
Yeah, I agree. What was that? I can't remember that Capcom game that came out that had a ton of hype behind it and ended up just more or less flop. No, I wouldn't say it flopped because people bought it. Oh, but it got thrashed because people didn't expect it to have microtransactions. Even though you could ignore the microtransactions, they had them in there. What game was that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I played that game. I bought that game.
You did buy it.
I got duped.
You got bamboozled.
I got bamboozled. And then, I played it and I tried to, I didn't want to feel bad about my purchase, so I played it for a bit. Then, oops,
What was it called again?
no
Dragon something.
refunds. Dragon's Dogma 2.
That's right. Another
Yeah,
$70 game
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that then they throw microtransactions in the mix, and you just go, what? Even though you can
Well,
ignore them, just the audacity to say,
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Capcom's been really guilty of that. Like, I like their games, but they love to sell these character edit passes. What's up with that?
but it's sad because this is exactly what you're talking about as far as like, being more frugal, the player base being more frugal. And it's like they wouldn't put it in there if people didn't spend the money on it. You know what I mean? At least I feel like that's true. I feel like that's a true statement. Like if people would just not spend the money on it, then it'd be like, well, why are we spending all this time making this, DLC or not DLC, but a microtransaction if no one's even spending any money on it? But they must have a mechanism where people are actually spending money on this stuff. And
Oh yeah, they speak for themselves. I mean, people are definitely spending money on these games. And until the people speak up, nothing's gonna change.
yeah. And so I guess that's kind of like the essence of troublemakers too. I mean, like not only is it troublemakers the game, but it's almost like an embodiment too of how we feel as a dev team, like kind of stirring things up, being a little bit of
Mm,
a troublemaker ourselves and trying to kind of push up against this stuff. I understand like people are going to be like, who are these guys? They haven't even come out with a game yet. But yet I don't think people understand like we've been in this community for a long time, and we have seen the trends and the way things have gone, and it finally is one of those things where it's like, screw it, we're gonna make our own stuff because we feel so betrayed on the way things have gone and these triple A's and what they've done. And so, in a way, I feel like if you're interested in like getting troublemakers, you almost embody the troublemaker spirit. You're like,
yeah,
I am a troublemaker. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Make trouble. And like the thing about it is, we're never gonna demand your time, but we'll appreciate it.
It's true.
I think
It,
that sounded pretty good.
that sounded really good, Pickle. That was actually probably one of your best lines ever.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 100%. Yeah. So with troublemakers, I want people to know that you know i things can be different. You know, and I hope that goes through with when the game goes live, people really feel that. You know, that we appreciate you and any community we form or get on troublemakers. I want them to feel valued, like what they
Yeah.
say matters.
Yeah, what they say, and we want them to feel like their time spent isn't wasted, and especially also money spent, because obviously we're making a free game, a live service. You know what I mean? And the reason, what can you speak into the reason why we went with that direction on making it free? And ultimately, like spoiler alert, like it's the what we are selling is skins, but we're it is live service, but the game's free. Why did we decide to go that philosophy or that direction?
The way I look at it is, you know, I want everyone to be able to play Troublemakers, even if you don't have money. Like, I want you to be able to play it, enjoy it, and meet other people, have a good time, join the community. But, you know, i- obviously we need money to keep things going, so, you know, had to put some some of them cosmetics in that I think people really enjoy. But what I'm doing different here at Troublemakers is and I'm sure they'll see it, when you go live is I ain't coming for your wallet.
That is true. I was shocked when we started talking about the pricing model and stuff like that. I was pretty shocked on how
Yeah,
reasonable, in my opinion, for
yeah.
sure, especially like compared to others. But I mean, also just in general as a baseline, for sure, very reasonable. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think. If there's anything you want to talk about specifically, you can kind of go at
I think
it.
this is a good place to end it. I'm tired. I have to get back to work, on Troublemakers because I never stop. I eat, sleep, breathe Troublemakers.
So,
You know, I'm not gonna
so
go like out and get like some, Panda Express or anything like that.
it's good. Orange chicken? Are you an orange chicken kind of guy?
It doesn't matter what I am because I'm not getting it.
Oh, you're not getting panda.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I have to work.
Oh, got it. That makes sense. Well, here, why don't we just have a little bit of an outro? Why don't you tell us all about Troublemakers, where they can find it, when the proposed release date is, so that way people know when to expect, any upcoming things coming out that people want to keep a lookout, where they can find us, community, all that stuff. Just give us a full rundown.
Yeah, you could wishlist Troublemakers on Steam right now. Look it up under Troublemakers. Don't forget to join the Discord. Be a part of the community. We're gonna have lots of fun events soon, and you know, you can learn more about the game. That's pretty simple.
What about when the game comes out?
Coming out in I don't want to give things too away, but you know,
When's,
I
how
hope
about
you
a
dress up
plan?
for it.
How about a
Hope
have
you
a,
hope you
a rough plan or a rough idea?
hope you I hope people have to dress up for the month it comes out. You know, hopefully you don't have a sweet tooth.
Okay, I think they got it.
Yeah, I hope they got it.
Well, thanks. Well, anyway, thanks, Pickle, for doing the show with me. I know
Yeah,
you were
yeah, yeah.
reluctant, but I think it's good for other people and devs out there to see, like I said, what's behind the curtain. What does it look like as another dev team working on a project, and who the faces are. So, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We did a real great job here. Show's gonna do numbers because it's right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Bye.
bye. See you later, Pickle.